Working from home can be really hard. I started doing it about 5 years ago, so I've had a little bit of time to develop a system that I think works really well. Here are a couple of tips I've gathered along the way. Pick a space in your house or your apartment that you are going to designate as your workspace and let it have that singular purpose. One of the often talked about perks of working at home is that you can work on the couch or you can work in the kitchen or simply that you can work anywhere. But the problem with that method is that there's no mental separation between where you work and where you live. So set up a spot in your apartment or your house and leave that space set up. Having that defined space means that you can flip your mindset as soon as you sit down for work. It's all about creating an environment for getting things done. It's important that your workspace is not only a place for productivity, but it's a place that you actually like to be. For me, I cannot stand a cluttered desk. It drives me crazy, and if things aren't organized, it doesn't allow me to focus on the important things. So I've designed my desk layout in a way that it focuses on the important thing, which is my computer. I don't even keep things like pens and pencils or notepads on the desk because 95% of my tasks deal with the computer, so there's no reason to clutter up the space at all with things that I might use just sometimes. Get up and take breaks frequently. I'm talking like every 30 minutes or so. Your home is not a public place, so you do not need to adhere to the social norms of getting in at a certain time and working kind of constantly all day. Honestly, it's not realistic and it's not very healthy. If you take breaks often, I think that you're going to find that your working time is way more productive. It's actually way better to be hyper-focused for 20 or 30 minutes at a time instead of spending something like an hour kind of focused and struggling to find your motivation. And if you're not feeling it at that time, take a break, grab a coffee, step outside, whatever it is that you need to do to kind of reset yourself and then come back to work. There's no social pressure here, so don't put any unneeded pressure on yourself to perform all day. One of the big tips that I'm seeing all over the internet right now about working from home is establish a schedule and stick to that schedule. And I could not disagree anymore. Now, let me be clear, I think having a schedule is good, and I think sticking to a schedule can be good. But the problem is that schedule stays the same. Life gets monotonous very quickly. You're doing the same schedule and the same space every single day. So what helps me is changing the schedule almost daily. My first schedule is pretty normal. I'll wake up, I'll get to work around 8 or 8:30. I'll work until lunch, have a lunch, and finish around 5 or 6. The next day, I will switch it up. So I'll wake up at the same time, but I'll spend the first part of my day on personal things like maybe paying bills or exercising or Netflix or whatever it is that I want to do, and then I'll get to work around 10 or 11. The point is that you have 24 hours in your day to have personal time and your work time. Be creative with your schedule. Work around your commitments, but keep things fresh. That's going to help you, especially as you work from home for a longer period of time. The last tip is about mental health, at least for me. When I first started working from home, I started realizing that there were days where I simply did not speak to somebody until like 3 or 4 p.m. Like I physically did not say any words because I didn't have a call or meeting that day, so I would just go to work and I'd spend all day on my computer. So now I purposely build things into my schedule that get me working with people. So even if I don't have a call for that day, I'm going to schedule a FaceTime and work with someone for 30 minutes or so. Now, even if we're not working on the same thing, at least I'm bouncing ideas off somebody, I'm chatting, whatever it is, and it keeps things fresh, it keeps things alive. So I would encourage you to find some work buddies, people that even you can just chat with for 10 minutes at a time, and that's going to help break things up for you and not make things feel so isolated and lonely. So that's it for my basic tips for working at home. I understand that not all of my tips may be useful or even applicable for you, but I do hope they encourage you to think about some things in a little different way. You'll of course develop your own tips along the way, and I'd love to hear them. And if you have any questions about things that I brought up in this video, please feel free to reach out at any time. Thanks for watching.